Welcome back to Andersen Acres. Now, if you raise rabbits, you already know how rewarding and how challenging it can be. Today, we're tackling a very important health issue that every rabbit owner should know about: abscesses in domestic rabbits. It's not pretty, and I will try to limit the pictures that I show you, but it is something you need to know about. You need to know what they are, how to identify them, how to treat them, and most importantly, how to prevent them in the first place. So let's get into it. Abscesses are localized infections that appear as lumps of pus. They're not attractive. Well, the abscess itself isn't great. It's not contagious. The underlying cause might be. So a rabbit can't catch another abscess from a rabbit. But if the underlying cause is bacterial, for example, they can catch that bacteria. They might not develop the same abscess. But if the underlying cause is bacterial, there is a chance that the bacteria can spread from one rabbit to another. These infections can form from scratches, bites, especially bites from other rabbits, or even small injuries caused by rough cage surfaces. One of the more common bacteria that can cause it is a Pastorella bacteria. This is fairly common, carried by a lot of different rabbits, and can enter through a simple break in the skin. It doesn't even have to be a bad break. The bacteria, if it's there, can simply enter through an abrasion. You will typically find abscesses forming around the head, the shoulders, the feet, or even along the jawline. At first, you might notice just a small bump. It might just seem almost like nothing. But as it progresses, the skin could turn red and then feel warm to the touch. If left untreated, it may burst and drain on its own. But that's not a good thing. When an abscess bursts without intervention, it leaves an open, gaping wound, which quickly becomes a breeding ground for even more bacteria. The pus inside can also spread the infection internally, potentially affecting the entire body. That's why treatment is so important and why you shouldn't wait for it to resolve on its own. So this is something that needs to be taken seriously. Now, your response will be based on a couple of things. First of all, it'll be based on the condition of the rabbit and your comfort level. If you're comfortable handling rabbits and comfortable performing minor medical procedures, there is a step-by-step approach that you can treat an abscess at home if it's not too serious. And if you know what you're doing and if you've done it before. If you've not treated a rabbit abscess before, you're going to want to get some help. Okay? If you're unsure, it's always best to get help from an experienced veterinarian. If you don't have a rabbit-savvy vet in your area, see if you can find somebody who has done this before, an experienced breeder, a rabbit handler, someone in your area who has treated rabbit abscesses to help you, because you really need some help. So you're going to need, first of all, a helper, primarily someone who can gently but securely hold the rabbit. You want to clip away any fur from the abscessed area for a better view. You want to disinfect the area. Use a medical cleanser, a medical disinfectant, to clean the area around the lump before making any cuts. Make sure it's clean. Then you want to lance the abscess. This is the part where if you've not done it before, you're going to need someone to help you. Okay? If you've not done it before, get a vet to show you how. I just make my vet do it. I don't like needles. But lancing the abscess can be done with a brand new razor blade or a sterilized sharp instrument like a needle, and you make basically a small cut in the center of the lump. It's intense, I know, but relieving that pressure does help the healing start. Okay, so you do want to at the very least get that healing started, and I really recommend you get some help if you haven't done it before, because lancing an abscess sucks and it can smell and it's gross. And if you haven't done it before and if you're not prepared for what it is, you're gonna want someone to show you what to do first. Okay? Then you want to drain the pus. This is worse. Okay, you want to use clean tissues or cotton pads to gently press and massage until all that pus is expelled from the abscess. It's gross, okay? It's disgusting, and you don't want to do it if you don't have to. Thank you, Blue. He agrees. So get somebody to do it for you. Get a vet if you can. If you have to do it yourself, then you can do what you got to do, but a vet is better. Once you've drained that pus, remember you have to take your time. It's important to get as much of that pus out of you as you can. Once you've drained it, then you need to clean it again. You need to reapply disinfectant to the wound and the entire surrounding area. Then you need to apply an ointment. Use a plain antibiotic ointment, not something with pain relievers. You can use human-grade ointment, just not the kind with pain reliever. Okay, so look for the antibiotic ointment without pain reliever. There's no need for a bandage. First of all, your rabbit's going to chew it off. But second, you actually want it open so that it can drain further if there's anything left in there, and so that it can start healing. If you bandage it up, you're just trapping the bacteria all over again. So definitely make sure you have left it open, cleaned it up. Make sure you have applied an antibiotic ointment without pain reliever. And then you're going to want to clean that wound daily and keep applying ointment until it's fully healed. This can take a few weeks, so you're going to need to be on top of it. Okay? Now, what about if it's in the foot? Well, foot abscesses are oddly common, especially on rabbits housed on rough wire floors. So if your wire floor is not polished, like not smooth, they can cut their feet and cause abscesses. These little nodules on their feet can look like bumps on the toes or on the pads, and they form where bacteria enters a small wound, usually from scraping their feet on the rough wire. You want to soak the foot in a mild iodine solution. Usually works well. This usually needs to be done several times a day. Okay, this will help disinfect and draw out the infection. If they don't drain on their own, you may have to lance them like you did other abscesses. It's not fun, but if you have a rabbit who is prone to getting abscesses on his feet, you're going to want to keep him on a smooth floor and keep that smooth floor very, very clean to prevent reoccurrence. And while he's healing, get him off that wire floor. Okay? He needs to be on a solid surface with lots of padding so his feet can heal. Now we've talked about the gross part. Let's talk about prevention. Proper sanitation in your rabbitry is essential. Always keep cages clean and dry. Remove any sharp edges or protrusions from your cage. You don't want anything to get scratched. So whether you keep your rabbits in hutches or rather whether you keep your rabbits in a colony style with really large pens, you want to make sure that everything is safe and there's no ability to scratch the heck out of themselves. You want to regularly disinfect your water bottles, your feeders, your flooring. If you have litter boxes, disinfect those. You want to just limit the amount of bacteria that is present so that your rabbits, if they do get a cut, it doesn't end up with an abscess. Yeah? Okay. It's chicken. So, also you want to prevent rabbit fights because this is another way that bacteria can enter, especially between intact males or unweaned litter mates. These scuffles can lead to bites and scratches, which can quickly become infected. Finally, always wash your hands after handling wounds or medications and dispose of used tissues or cotton pads immediately. You don't want those sitting around. One, they're not good for you. Two, they are not good in case you reinfect the rabbit after you've already fixed him. There's bacteria on those. Get rid of them. So you don't want to reinfect the rabbit because then you're back at square one again. So get rid of those. Don't just leave them. Just throw them out, disinfect the surface, disinfect your hands. Just do it. So if at any point you're unsure or if the abscess is deep, recurring, or isn't healing properly with at-home care, you need to call a vet. Okay? I recommend calling a vet at the beginning anyway. I recommend letting a vet deal with the abscesses, but if you can't, or if a vet is too far away, or you can't afford it right now, trying to deal with it at home is fine for a little bit. Okay, it's fine if you can manage it. But if at any point you're uncomfortable or unsure, or you have a goat sticking her head in here, if any of those things happen, especially the goat, you should call the vet. Get the vet. They can help you much faster than you can help yourself at this point. So rabbits hide pain and symptoms really well. So untreated infections can lead to severe health complications and even death. So you definitely want to get on it fast. And if you don't know what you're doing, or you didn't catch it very quick, hi. Hi, baby. If you didn't really catch it, if you didn't catch it fast enough, get to the vet. I wouldn't risk one of mine with an abscess. I let the vet deal with it. It's just, yes, we do. We let the vet deal with it, honey. Yeah. So that's about it for us here today at Andersen Acres. Drop a comment below if you've ever had to deal with a rabbit abscess or have any questions about rabbit care. I will try to answer them if I can. I'd love to hear your experiences so everyone can help each other and learn a little more about rabbit care. We'll see you tomorrow.